Hey, you all. Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the north. More specifically, we are in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And even more specifically than that, we are here at Vampa, the Vampire and Paranormal Museum. This is a very recent museum. It actually only opened in October of last year, but very excited to get out to the Vampire Museum. I don't know if I've ever been to a vampire museum before, but it is a museum of vampires and paranormal things. So very excited to finally make my way out here to Vampa. So please follow me. And can you hear that? There's like ominous music filling the air as we approach Vampa. And look at this. Look at these chairs here. These are scary chairs, or scares, if you will. The skeleton there. I would sit down here, but there is a big puddle of water, and I don't want to get a wet bottom before I head into the Vampire Museum. You look over here, you can see a carving, a sculpture of Dracula there biting the neck of a woman. You can see the little two holes he's punctured in her neck. These gargoyles here as we enter, and a bust to another famous vampire, Nosferatu, also known as Count Orlok. But yeah, I'm excited about this. Let's head in to Vampa. So there is a lot occurring here as we enter Vampa. Quite a few people here today as well, but this first room here just absolutely packed with vampire artifacts. Now, we have seen our fair share of vampire killing kits on our travels, but there's some very, very unique vampire killing kits, all sorts of different kinds of vampire killing kits. Like, look at this one here. You have the stake right there, several stakes in the case, and then embedded into the stake, you can see the different items like holy water, garlic, and sort of things that you would use to fight the vampire. Yeah, these are very, very elaborate. Got the stakes. There's a little axe there, too. I don't know what the axe is for. What would you use an axe for when fighting a vampire? It's also got the cross, the Bible, the crucifix back there. Oh, look down here. These little glass baubles here. I wonder, these almost look like, are these like grenades? Like holy water grenade, a garlic grenade there. This is a French traveling vampire kit from 1886. Look at the size of that stake there. It's almost like they have different types of stakes, like different shapes of stakes for different situations. Yeah, loaded with stakes here. I guess you need the right stake for the job. Still not sure what the axe is used for. I thought vampires were immune to axe chops. But yeah, the powders, the Bible there. Now this here is not a vampire killing kit. This is an Arabic kit for battling jinn. Jinn are kind of like evil genies in the simplest of terms. Let's see there, battling jinns on the front. And it says that jinns actually have some of the same characteristics as vampires, implying there may be a connection there. And you can see this whole box is full of weapons to kill jinns. And you see the familiar wooden stakes. Look at this trunk here. It's a massive trunk. I guess this is for like fighting an army of vampires. Get everyone grabs their stake. Grab the stake which you like to kill vampires with the most. Which stake would you guys pick? Which one of these do you think is the most efficient? If you had to reach in here and grab a stake for the vampire war, which one would you grab? Yeah, this is easily already the largest collection of vampire killing kits and vampire killing stakes. Oh, look at these stakes right here. They actually have like saints carved into the handles. Adds that like religious aspect. You know, vampires hate Christianity, so it kind of probably helps in the killing process. Got some more of the massive stakes. This stake here. Oh, this is actually two stakes Oh, this is a vampire killing mallet in 2 stakes. So you got the mallet there. The stakes are connected to the side. You take the stake out, put it in the vampire, then use the mallet to hammer it into the vampire. And on top, for extra help, you've got Jesus. Oh my gosh, look at this mallet here. This would be like for killing a Godzilla-sized vampire. Well, that's a good movie. Someone needs to make a kaiju Dracula movie. Be amazing. Yeah, these are so ornate. So many. I never knew there were so many styles in making these stakes. Yes, folks, there are more stakes in here than there are at Texas Roadhouse. This trunk's got some interesting things. And then, of course, the traditional steaks, the traditional spices and waters and oils, but also like these almost like giant saws. I guess you need to like saw a vampire. I think you can. I think that may be the rule. You think you can saw a vampire's head off? I think that works. You can detach their heads from their body, I think. It's like a vampire killing desk. But look at these triple stakes. Triple stakes there. Down here, it's a vampire killing mace. And again, I think about the strict rules of vampires. I was thinking, does a mace work? And then I'm looking at it. The spikes are made of wood, so maybe they're like little stakes. And then they've got like the religious imagery on there, which maybe helps. This room talks about demonic possession, so the levels of demonic ownership. So the number one is infestations, where you basically hear voices, see things moving. Oppression, so you have nightmares, uncontrollable depression, major disturbances. Obsession is when you cannot sleep. And then possession is when you are severely compromised and the demon takes control of you. The statue here is of a figure performing an exorcism there, cleansing the demons out of this individual. This is an original exorcism chair. You can see all those straps, the chains up there that they would use to hold the possessed person down. I guess you can't play around when there's a demon inside. It says this was from Germany, 19th century Germany, and used in actual exorcisms. It does warn here that this chair has powerful demonic energy, so please use caution when viewing. Yikes. Well, check out this chair back here, the cross on top, and there's different ways to chain someone, pin them in. There's like a head clamp right there. Pieces of wood go over your body, and even like these clogs here you put on your feet that lock to this piece of wood. Yikes. And look at this absolutely insane skull chair here. It's like a rocking chair with the skulls here on the front and back. It's like whole skeletons. That is wild. Yeah, you see the skeleton there on the back. And it says that this was believed to belong to Vincent Price, of all people, one of the spookiest men to ever live. Some portrayals of the Garden of Eden. I've actually heard people talk of the Garden of Eden actually leading to early vampire lore, that Adam and Eve's son, Cain, who committed the first murder, was forced to roam the land of Nod as a vampire for his crimes. I think also Lilith may have been cast into the land of Nod, Adam's alleged first wife. You can see in the Garden of Eden there, taking fruit from the forbidden tree, and then the serpent in the tree there portrayed pretty much as a demon. And here is Mephistopheles from Faust, the demon that guided Faust and allured him to do bad things. See this ram-headed figure there. Look at some of this artwork. This is a 19th century painting of Elizabeth Bathory, some believed to be one of the original vampires, allegedly bathed in the blood of virgins to keep her youthful appearance. And it appears to be working. She does look very youthful. But it warns here that this painting has actually been reported to be haunted and to view with caution. So, yeah, a lot of very terrifying items in here. And this is the statue of the saint La Santa Muerta, the skull face there. Apparently some revere the saint, but the Catholic Church has denounced this particular saint as being satanic. Satanic and saintly, two very different things. Okay, and while viewing all the killing kits, I did have some questions on exactly how the things work, how you killed vampires. This explains everything. So the wooden stake, that's kind of the most common. You drive the wooden stake in to their heart, and it says various cultures believed in different types of wood. So, also some believe only a specific types of wood, but it says wood is consistent. Like, all of them agree that it is wood into the vampire that kills them. The holy water, this just kind of works as like a baptism. It removes the evil spirit from their body, and all of their body. Silver works. Best when performed on sleeping vampires. It says you can actually use silver bullets in a gun, so kind of like a werewolf. And I had a question about this. Yeah, beheading works. That's why there was the saws and things like that. I don't know what's easier, to use the stake or cut their head off, but cutting the head off works. Fire kills everything. I guess there's nothing that fire doesn't work on. We all know about the sunlight. Yeah, it says the sunlight will melt vampires. Vampires actually have a lot of weaknesses when you think about it. Iron works, essential implement of war, works like wood through the heart. So yeah, so iron through the heart works with wood through the heart. I like to point out that most of these things kill humans as well. Holy water doesn't. Bullets do. So, of holy water is the only thing that doesn't kill a normal human. Oh, crucifix works. It is a deterrent. Okay, you have to attach it to the wood or iron to help in killing him. Mostly it just keeps him away. Garlic's just a deterrent. They'll stay away from it. Yeah, let's see, the salt. The exact degree of saltiness just screws with the balance of life. It is a deterrent. So salt keeps them away, garlic keeps them away, and crucifixes keep them away. And Bibles and prayer books don't kill them directly, but they use to strengthen the resolve of the slayer. So if you're going to kill some vampires, read up on your Bible. See these skeleton-headed figures here. These are pretty spooky. Super spooky skeletons, if you will. Talks about the skeleton here. It says in different beliefs, voodoo, black magic, Catholicism, all associate this skeleton with death. I do think that's pretty universal. I think most cultures do see skeletons as kind of a symbol of death. I'm going to take a peek in this little crack in the wall, and there is Pazuzu from The Exorcist. Yeah, it talks about, it says, please do not glorify the statues that represent some malevolent entity in popular culture. It should be viewed with caution. Got a little corner over here. I don't know what that is, like a boar's head. Look at this painting. And this Minotaur statue here. It says this statue is actually from the Alexandre Dumas castle in France. I guess the Minotaur, half man, half cow, used to torment people in the afterlife. Got this museum absolutely packed with just like gothic, terrifying art. Look at that right there. Painting of Marie Laveau, the voodoo queen of New Orleans. And then this here, this is not a vampire killing kit. This is a kit of an authentic voodoo priestess. See the different items in there. You can see the dolls. There's a pipe. I think sometimes tobacco does play a role in spells and voodoo. The vials over there, different items. That is pretty amazing. As we look at the items in this case, it talks about how the Greeks, Mesopotamians, and Romans all had stories of blood-drinking demons. So there's definitely some consistency in the vampire stories throughout history, throughout different cultures. And I just wanted to make it clear, as we travel through the museum, there's just an endless collection of these vampire killing implements, the hammers, the stakes. Just continue in every room to see different versions, different styles. Oh, look at this. This is like a double, this is like a vampire killing bow staff. That's pretty crazy. So this room here is locked. There's all these padlocks, all these chains on this door. This is the Vampa cleansing room. These items down these steps are not ready to be put on display. They are getting rid of any negative energies. So, okay, they do have some where we can peek at these upcoming items that are getting cleansed. What is down there? Oh my gosh. There's like a demon down there being cleansed. Yeah, I'd leave it down there a little while. I think it needs some extra cleansing. Now this is something really insane right here. This table, which is actually a talking board as well. It's got a Ouija board type printing on it. Generally, Ouija board is a brand name. They're generally called talking boards. But it's painted on here. This table was painted by Aleister Crowley, who is one of the most infamous occult figures. Founded the religion of Thelema, and he was deep into the occult. If you want to look up Aleister Crowley, some dark stuff there. Yeah, just the artwork alone here at Vampa is amazing. See Medusa. What is this? Is this a Ouija clock? Like, I understand, like, a clock needs numbers to tell times, but what does it need letters for? How does a Ouija clock work? If anyone knows how a Ouija clock works, leave a comment in the comment section. Behind these chains, they have their talking boards or Ouija boards, and they label them as windows to the demonic. I know, I've heard a lot of people familiar with this sort of thing, familiar with Ouija boards and the occult and ghost hunting, that you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful what comes to you while you are using a Ouija board. Apparently you can contact ghosts, which are, you know, people that have passed on, but apparently, you know, you gotta watch out. Make sure a demon doesn't answer on the other line, because you don't want to play with a demon. I have a bust of Harry Houdini here. Now, he was actually opposed to spiritualism, and there's kind of a long tradition of magicians opposing supernatural belief, combating supernatural belief, at least in the sense of they believe that you know, people use it as hucksterism, that they use spirituality, they use talking to ghosts and things like that as a way to scam people. And Harry Houdini did not believe in spiritualism, did not believe with communicating with the dead. Said apparently there was an ongoing friendly rivalry between him and Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote the Sherlock Holmes books, that Arthur Conan Doyle was a big believer in the paranormal and supernatural, and then they, I guess they argued over it their whole lives. And Houdini actually had a plan to completely debunk talking to the dead, and that he set up with his wife when he died. He wanted them to have seances to try to talk to him, and I guess there was like code words, information that only the two of them would know, that if they could contact him, he would give the secret info, and they were never able to get him to do it. Now, I don't know if that's proof of one way or another, but very interesting tale, very interesting. But Harry Houdini is a fascinating Fascinating person. Okay, now this almost spooked me when I saw it. And what's really strange to me, you can see there's a talking board in there. What's really strange to me is this Hackenback Wallace circus tragedy. I only recently learned of this. I went to the Showman's Rest Cemetery outside of Chicago, where they buried all the victims of this train wreck that happened in Hammond, Indiana. It says close to 70 people died. And I went to the graveyard, and yeah, there was just full of unidentified bodies. It was horrible. About 3 days later, I went to House on the Rock, and I realized their miniature circus actually was the Hagenbeck Wallace Circus. So I was like, wow, that's kind of a coincidence. But this I have never heard, and this is very, very dark and chilling. They said that when the circus train wreck took place, that there was a clown named Coyle who blamed the wreck on someone bringing aboard this talking board. He said it was cursed. There was a demonic presence connected to it that caused the train wreck. The clown was apparently distraught. This story just goes on. It gets crazy from here. So apparently, I didn't know this either, Maria Rasputin, the daughter of Gregory Rasputin, worked for the circus. That alone is crazy. It says that that apparently the board was put into storage, and later Maria Rasputin would retrieve the board and get possession of the board. I guess it was passed around a little bit. In the 1970s, the board here made its way back on a train. It was placed on a train, and then that train had a wreck, killing 83 people. So they said this is on display for the first time ever here at Vampa. You can look at a very primitive talking board there. Been aboard 2 of the worst train wrecks in human history, and that story chills me to the bone. And whether or not it's just messing with my head, whether or not it's just all this coming together, because it was kind of these weird coincidences with me too, but looking at this absolutely cuts me to the bone and gives me a sick feeling in my stomach. If that's paranormal, I don't know. I know a lot of people describe like bad energy, but I feel some bad stuff coming from this board here. Have the like a dog-faced monk here next to the tarot card case. See the tarot cards. I always like a fan of the art on the tarot cards. Now, my ex-wife actually knew how to do tarot card readings, but yeah, I was always just fascinated with the artwork. Now, memento mori means reminder of death, and I guess we view outside out the window here to see some reminders of death. You can see the skull-faced figures there, and they're all circled around this skeleton here. And I love that skeleton statue. I like how he's just got his arms behind his head, like he's taking a load off, taking a nap. Yeah, this almost looks like a altar to Baphomet there. Over here is a collection of African art and fetishism. See the masks there on the wall. You can see like the devilish mask there with the snake crawling through it. Now, if I remember correctly, these are, with the nails in it, are like hate fetishes, where they, for every anger they have, every time that someone wrongs them, they place a nail into the fetish. That's a little fetish porcupine there. But look at this. I don't know if I've ever seen a fetish that tall. That is taller than a normal human being. And you can see it's got like nails in it. Almost look like cross nails. And almost look like shards of bone jammed in there. That is wild. So this room here is the pedophobia, pupophobia, Claustrophobia, which is fear of dolls, puppets, and clowns room. It says many of these items have demonic activity. Please show caution. And they have the chains chained off this room here. And yeah, this room gives what it promises. There is, fear of dolls and clowns. That combines both right there. Back of the back, there's just like a massive clown head covered in spikes. Oh my gosh. A room full of demonic dolls, puppets, and clowns. I think for some people, it doesn't get much more terrifying than that. The staircase here. Oh, look at that up at the top. Talks about ghost ships here. A ghost ship is a sailing ship that has no crew, run by supernatural forces. And it says this replica of a ghost ship, it says guests have reported strange energy emitting from this. And it says down there on the sign, paranormal. The paranormal is not to be taken lightly. So definitely a very spooky ship. I mean, I feel negative energy, but I think I'm still freaked out about that train wreck Ouija board. It's different skulls here in artwork. Oh, whose face is that? Now, this is pretty much beyond amazing. This is a vampire battling hearse. It says it's from Santorini, Greece, that a family of vampire hunters would take this on vampire hunting expeditions. They altered a horse-drawn hearse as sort of a vampire killing tank that they would take with them as they went and hunted vampires. Oh yeah, you see their pistols. We loaded up with silver bullets there in the side. All these big jugs of holy water in that case. You got to have all your stakes lined up, ready for vampire staking. This is amazing. Oh boy, I know who you are. Oh man. The display on hourglasses here. And it does talk about how hourglasses are a symbol of the time's inevitable passing. So, often the hourglass is a symbol of time running out. But also points out here that with an hourglass, you're always able to turn things around and start things anew. So it can be a symbol of either the inevitable or a symbol for an opportunity to make things better. And I like that because I always, that's one of my mantras, is that whenever there is a crisis, whenever there is truly something bad happening, it's always an opportunity to shake things up, to change things, and start on a whole new path. And this last room is dedicated to the Archangel Michael. This entire room set aside for Michael, who I guess famously battled Satan and defeated him in battle. You can see he's got Satan dead to rights there. Satan's on the ropes. Michael's got his flame sword. He's ready to spear into Satan. And again, Michael with Satan on the ropes. This sculpture is interesting because apparently it portrays Satan as having a giant winged serpent as his genitals. See Michael continuing his undefeated streak against Satan. See this one here, Satan himself portrayed as a dragon. Yeah, down here, this Satan just looks like a lump of crap. Which I guess, in some ways, Satan is just a big lump of crap. This Satan down here, he just kind of looks humiliated. A little bored, too. Here's the mission statement here of Vampa. Edmondo Cremi, the director and curator, says, "Hope when you leave the museum you don't leave with a glorification of demons, but with a better understanding of the need to eradicate evil from the world. Vampa strives to bridge the gap between denial, aka there are no demons, and overemphasis, there's a demon behind everything. So I guess, a moderate belief in evil, not claiming everything is evil, not claiming that nothing is evil, but a moderate view on evil. Just may the grace, power, and God's love stay with you. Here is the director, Edmondo Cremi, and apparently he got authorization from the St. John Evangelist Parish to attend a course on exorcism. But as we leave Vampa here, there is quite an interesting grounds here. My understanding is there's actually an antique dealership here on the same property. So a lot of interesting things out here for sale. The different religious figurines there. There's a Buddha right here. Wait a minute, what's back there in the bushes? Something. Oh my gosh. A random rhinoceros head protruding from this English ivy. There's a cow? A cow? And look at this! There's a freaking crocodile. Now, one thing I did not expect coming here to the Vampire Museum is all of the dinosaurs. See a T-Rex head hanging from the tree. Oh yeah, some more dino heads down here. I think these are raptor heads. What does it say? We welcome strollers, food, drinks, children, dogs, cats, long hair, short hair, no share, and small dragons. So you're allowed to bring dragons with you. Very welcoming place. Yeah, there's a Stegosaurus here. This is almost just like a full, mini dinosaur park over here. Oh, look at this! Look at this raptor. Check out this guy here. Yeah, Vampa here, a different type of place. Not only can you go in and do a gothic vampire museum, you can also frolic out here with prehistoric creatures. It's a blue raptor here. You can take these home. $750. I think that's a good price for this full-size raptor. This guy. Is that a T-Rex or maybe a Allosaurus? Well, what is even happening over here? There's a giant boa constrictor eating a baby sauropod. Oh my goodness. Oh, and we have a dismantled pterodactyl here. It looks like he was dismantled by these guys. Oh no, look at this poor guy here. He's got velociraptors crawling all over him. He's got his bone sticking through his skin there. Yikes. Yeah, everything you need to start your own gothic garden. You can even take home your very own piata. Just trying to figure out what animal this was. I was going to say it was a moose, but it doesn't look like a moose in the face. It doesn't have the moose nose. It looks more like an elk, but it's kind of got moose antlers. Is this just moose antlers put on an elk, or is this another animal that I'm just unable to identify? Oh, some Dilophosauruses back here. Hey buddy, don't spit on me. And what else is lurking back here? Another raptor. And this saber-toothed tiger. He's got a leash on. So vampires and dinosaurs. How do you go wrong with that? But seriously, Vampa, very unique attraction, very unique presentation. very gothic museum, very historical view, kind of a unique perspective on like the paranormal museum and that category of attraction. I think they offer a very unique view, and I think it's definitely worth checking out. I don't talk about like personal paranormal experiences that much on this channel. I don't, I try to respect people's beliefs on both sides of that, and it may be, there's a lot of factors here. It may just be because I've had the subject. You ever had like where a subject comes up multiple times and like you kind of feel like that means something, even if it doesn't mean something, just a coincidence. The train wreck, the Hollenbeck Wallace Circus train wreck. I visited, went through Chicago, outside of Chicago, and I think it was near Berwyn. They had the Showman's Rest Cemetery. I went there, and it was very striking. Moved me. This horrific train wreck they had, the circus train wreck, and they had all those unmarked graves. Very, very moving stuff. And then the very next day, I went to House on the Rock. And I've been to House on the Rock several times. I've seen their miniature circus several times. But I did not realize until that visit that the circus, the tiny circus at House on the Rock, is a portrayal of the same circus, the Hollenbeck Wallace Circus, that had that catastrophic, horrific train wreck. So that was kind of just there, like, wow, that's kind of an odd coincidence. But then here, it's been a week or two since I was at House on the Rock, and I saw the Ouija board, the talking board, that I guess a clown had blamed that on the wreck. And then somehow Rasputin factors in. Rasputin's daughter was an employee of the circus who took ownership of that Ouija board after the train wreck. Apparently she either survived the train wreck or was not on the train. And then it gets transported on another train, which has a train wreck. And just out of sitting this, I get kind of like this gross, like heavy feeling in my chest. And I'm not saying 100% this was a paranormal effect. This was like bad energy, but it felt bad. Like it felt like I was looking at something bad and I was feeling something bad. And that could just be because of these like weird coincidences I've had in my travels with this particular circus wreck. But it gave me a bad feeling. And I kind of still, like, going through the museum, kind of just had that weird feeling, and they talk about there is haunted items in there. There is demonically possessed items in the museum, which is pretty terrifying. But I just kind of carried that heaviness carrying it right now, actually. Feeling that heaviness right now after seeing that. I don't know. You guys can have your own opinions. I'm just saying how I feel. I'm not saying that I know what it's caused by, but I had an interesting personal experience here at Vampa. But I didn't want to put this this video in the bag just quite yet. There's another place I wanted to stop before we ended this video. So come on, let's go. I came here to downtown Philadelphia. Now, last April when I was in town for the World Oddities Expo, I met the owner, Adam, and he invited me to come out to his shop here, the End Times Boutique. I think we found the right place. You can see the clown garbage can lid there, and a little green dog wearing a gas mask. Let's head in. All right, and check this out. Over top everything, we got this massive crocodile here spread out. This mask here is actually a mummer's mask. Now, the Mummers is something I have not had a chance to really get into. There is a Mummers Museum in Philadelphia. I've never been there. It's kind of like Philadelphia's version of Mardi Gras, but also I always appreciate a good goblin. Look at that, we got a coelacanth there hanging above the front door.
So this was actually made by a young lady named Heather Howd. She purchased this, or we purchased this off of her, rather, apologies. It was an entry in the alternative taxidermy competition they held here in Philadelphia about 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
And it was just this really well-made, intricate diorama. Anthropomorphic taxidermy has been around for absolute centuries.
Yeah, it's like a little surgery scene.
She just graced us with letting this be seen. I very much enjoy the phrenology head. Up on the top left, there's a shelf.
Oh yeah, there's phrenology head up there.
Yeah. Not that that's not a, hackney science, but...
Look at these little mice up here watching from the rafters. Yeah, that's really cool.
There's the largest clam in the world.
Oh yeah.
Those pieces weigh 70 pounds a piece. It was a struggle to get up there, but you see specimens that size in museums quite frequently, and it's an honor to have it here.
Yeah, you always hear the legends of the scuba divers get their arms stuck in them, get trapped.
What a horrible way to go.
There's like a taxidermy mold there.
So just to add an element of whimsy throughout the whole place, we have vintage taxidermy forms. I've always found them a little bit haunting, and so
yeah, because it kind of
that one even has some of the sculpting clay on the front of it. It's very amateur, and
yeah, almost like an Eraserhead type vibe to it.
Very much so. Yeah.
And look at this little fox here. She's got a baby and a candle.
That was made by this gentleman.
Corpse Pimp. I saw their booth the other day.
Yeah. He's a skilled practitioner. A lot of fun. A lot of interest in their cabinet, too. So we opened the space during the Great Plague when the world was on fire, because it seemed like a great time to negotiate rent. And the whole concept is based off of the Cabinet of Curiosities, the Wunderkammer that you hear about. And the idea here is that we're slowly integrating all of the information onto our social medias. So you'll be able to come here as an immersive experience and scan things. You can, of course, buy. We have a small static collection that lives in the space, but throughout the rest of it, we want it to be very education heavy. Responsible sourcing, naturalism, conservation have always been paramount to us, aside from the affinity for the preservatory sciences. We absolutely love cutting-edge processes when it comes to making these things last well past their time. I'm sure everybody's aware of the natural world, and so we go to great lengths to secure these amazing things and find people that cherish them. Privately, publicly, professionals, what have you. But yeah, that's the goal, that's the passion. And some people call it oddities.
I'll look down in here into the cabinet. See the little hula mouse there. There's a chainsaw mouse. And this little doll here. What kind of bone is that on the face of the
If I had to qualify it, that is one of the corpse's cabinets. But it looks to me like a rabbit pelvis upside down.
Rabbit pelvis. Yeah. Makes that. A rabbit pelvis kind of looks like a rabbit mask when you put it on your face.
Yeah. As you can see, it organized. This is the funerary cabinet, which is all reliquary and funeral stuff. And then moving down the lines, kind of mishmash at the end, is wet specimens and diophanizations. And on the opposing side, we have crystals in the Heisenberg cabinet, bug box, excellence in pestilence, which is our entomology, and just bone cabinets, necropolis now.
Yeah, look at this little guy right here. What happened to him?
So that is Mortimer. Mortimer. And next to it is Squonk. And so inside this beautiful Whitehall Tatum jar, these are dwarf cows. They both have achondroplasia. They are not genetically viable, unfortunately. We have one of the largest collections of real freak animals in private hands in the world. And we go out of our way to care for them. It's used as a research collection. If the animal is not in pain and can live, we pay for the life rights because it's an entirely different study. But yeah, these are dwarf cows, and this is the freeze-dried wet specimen from a farmer who never met me until 3 years after it had been in his freezer.
Oh, he just stuck it in his freezer and...
He basically said, it'll be worth something to somebody. Sure enough,
he was right.
He met me. And then to the left is an absolutely beautiful mount done by Ray Hatfield, who was a famed Ripley's Believe It or Not taxidermist.
Oh, okay.
These guys just came in. This is actually a very rare two-headed goat.
That's a goat, okay.
Yes, and we have a lot of two-headed animals here. There are about 8 main configurations, not to get too lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
But for an animal to be connected at the pelvis like it is in the back, that is called an ischiopagus. And even amongst freak animals, I have never had one of these in real time and have hundreds. And so it's a great honor to have that in the collection.
Yeah, it's almost like the two fully developed like front halves onto one back half.
A lot of the conjoined animals, you'll hear the word pagus in them. And pagus is Latin for a town or a meeting place or unity. And so ischiopagus is conjoined at the hips. This is also omphalopagus, conjoined at the belly. If you come to your left, here is a beautiful little kitten mounted by Divya of Gotham Taxidermy. And this one is connected at the chest and the belly.
Yeah.
So that would be called a thoracopagus, conjoined cow. Conjoined kitten.
Yeah.
Apologies. Up next, up at the top.
Oh, okay.
That is the beautifully articulated two-headed cow skeleton. I call it the golden calves. And that is got a lot of different names. It's a parapagus dicephalic because it's 2 full heads.
Yeah.
It's the thoracopagus because it's conjoined at the chest. I'm sorry about nerding out over this, but the number of legs also qualifies the name, so their full formal name would be Tetrapus quadrupus because one has 3 and one has 4 as far as the top and bottom of the animals, quadrupeds.
Oh.
So we have a lot of interesting things that we're going to plug into our social media so that people can learn about them for free. Museums don't just have to be accredited anymore, you know? This is one of the fun ones, a staple of our store. This is a new old stock Soviet-era gas mask.
Is that a gas mask designed for a horse?
Yes.
That's a horse skull?
That is a Percheron. That's a war horse.
A war horse?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's some little two-headed bird there.
That is a 2-headed Swedish black duckling.
Two-headed Swedish black duckling.
Yeah, I called a breeder because to mount that and to mount the carcass, I needed an extra pair of bills and an extra pair of feet.
Yeah.
And so I called the breeder and I said, this is a weird request, but I'm looking for 2 ducklings that were just egg death. And they were like, well, we sell them, you can do whatever you want with them. I'm like, no, I don't want anything harmed for my purposes. The next 2 that die, just put them in the freezer and sell them to me.
Yeah.
And they go, okay. It didn't cost that much money. And then I get woken up maybe 6 days later, and it's the post office. They said, your birds are here. And I was like, it's fine. They're not alive anyway. The post office knows who I am.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, they're alive.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, excuse me. And it was at that point I could hear the tweeting wildly in the back.
So they just sent you live birds?
They sent me 2 boxes. The invoice went twice. So they sent me the pair of the dead ones.
What you asked for. And they just sent you some bonus live birds.
Some bonus live birds. And they were adorable. And we named them Tweedledee and Tweedledum because they were clumsy, and they went to live with a friend of mine on their farm until the end of their days.
Oh.
Which I hope are not over, but I don't actually know the lifespan.
Need to go check on that.
Yeah. Ducks are murdery, so I hope they're okay.
They're murdery? What, they kill each other?
Dude, ducks and dolphins. Everybody's like, cute little duck. No, they're vicious.
I've heard some scary things about dolphins.
Dolphins are rough. Ducks, very similar. Super, super sketch in the duck community.
Oh my gosh. I think these are these snakes down here.
So that is to sort of show you the process. So to the right is the desiccated mummy of the two-headed snake.
Okay.
And then when it was fresh, to the left, that was the cast of its body.
Okay.
And then to the left further was what we did with that cast, which is we made another one and then we put the skin on it.
Oh, okay.
So taxidermy actually means the manipulation of skin. Taxi is to move, and derm, epidermis, skin.
You always found baboons to be terrifying. You just look at those teeth, and then plus, they got hands. They can they can climb in your window. Yeah, this is why baboons are terrifying.
Yeah, so aside from, the educational aspect, which is of course important to everything, because you have to be able to research what you're doing, we're bringing in a lot of local artists and home decor and apparel, and we don't really gatekeep what oddities is. It's a mishmash of different things, and so we're looking to cater to pretty much any particular niche.
Yeah.
If it's interesting, we're interested.
Look at there's these masks here. Where are these from?
So I was told these were 70s Halloween masks.
70s. Oh, that's cool.
I don't know if you've ever been to Brimfield Flea Market, but they came
not.
from Brimfield.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Here we are in the back room. There's quite a collection of antlered animals here.
My hidden shame.
Is your hidden shame back here?
Well, you can't have them on the ground because they're more susceptible to bugs, so I had to hang them high. And just whenever people buy them out in the store, we just change one out. And occasionally we let people...
Oh, so you just throw a new moose out there?
Yeah, yep. It's kind of like a Pez dispenser, but for much cooler stuff. And so I traded him mounted butterflies for an original piece because he was offering a bunch of them at the time.
Clive Barker there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
And I never interfaced with him directly, but his manager was like, yeah, Clive said it was fine. And
for butterflies.
For mounted butterflies, blue morphos, and in the oddities community, I guess it were. This man's name was Axel Stocks. He was also known as the Metallic Messiah. He was a very skilled jeweler, and he was a blood painter.
As in he painted with blood?
As he painted with blood and 24-karat gold leafing. And all of these pieces that you're seeing on him under his cockatoo, these were all cast. Here, let me put this back and I'll show you. One of my favorite pieces. But essentially, he used what is called the lost wax process. And so these are shrimp antennae. These are stag beetle jaws. This is a common marmoset monkey face. And these are beetle wings. And he would pad the back of them with wax, and then he would make a silicone mold of them, and then he would essentially make this collage out of silicone parts. You can even see little snail shells in there in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just such an amazing man, and an inspiration and mentor to me. And I'm privileged to own several of his blood paintings now. Actually, if you get in there, you can see in the top center. Oh, these are the paintings here? To the left is a postcard. In the center, that is a blood painting.
Oh, okay.
So these were designed and painted by Troy Timple, the owner of the world's largest tattoo convention, the Villain Arts Tattoo Convention.
Up here on the roof of the building. Look at that, a giant milk bottle. Right there, apparently that was part of a creamery at one point. Little dinosaur hanging up here. Hanging out here on the rooftop garden. Yeah, peek up here off the crow's nest. Oh, look at over there.
It's a great view of the city.
There's Philadelphia.
Philadelphia shop that has this.
Yeah, look at that, Philadelphia.
Smells like pretzels.
Oh, and that giant milk jug. Actually, just lit it up. A glowing milk jug. So a special thank you to Adam for having me out to his shop and teaching me a few things about the strange and unusual. So it's been an amazing day here in the greater Philadelphia area, being able to visit the End Times Boutique as well as the Vampa Museum. Lots more fun stuff coming up soon, so please stay tuned. If you do like these videos, please consider subscribing. It does help me out. I travel around the country. I film roadside attractions, amusement parks, museums, haunted houses, and other fun random stuff. If you'd like to help support the channel in other ways, consider contributing to Patreon. $3 or more, you get you a postcard once a month from me to you. Also selling enamel pins in the Etsy shop, but not just enamel pins. We also have Carpetbagger pressed pennies, backed by popular demand. Tons of new cool stickers, and so check that out if you're interested in those things. Also doing personalized messages on Cameo, and all the information for all those things is in the description, and all those things help keep this train on the track, this boat in the water, and this vampire flapping through the sky. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.